Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Zabi here, back again with Kuroko no Basket Season 2. We are on episode 18, and I'm very excited about this one. I'm very excited because in the last episode, we had two things happen that were very similar. So similar, in fact, happened to two different people. Naomini went into the zone, which visually is essentially lightning from their eyes. It basically means they're fully focused. They're essentially using 100% of their ability at any one time. Midorimo's talking about how generally, across the board, when you're not in the zone, the average player will, have access to 80%. But the zone allows them to go 100%. True 100% as well. So, about halfway through, or just a little bit before, Naomini hit the zone. It was looking really bad. And now, Kagami has gotten to the zone as well. He's forced himself into it, which, I don't know. I mean, do I have to question how that's even possible? Because normally being in the zone would be, it's not something I feel like you can force yourself into more than it naturally just, fits at a certain time, But because Kagami's, the one that, to get, to sort of fire himself up a bit more, so that he's more effective. He just, he keeps telling himself that I need more. But, from being in the zone, I feel like that's not something you can force yourself into. But I don't care, because Kagami is now in the zone. And that means there's nothing else to really get in each other's way to one-up each other now. It's just pure one-on-one, and I feel like that's all it's going to be for this, I think, the last 2 minutes of the game. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping it's a full episode of just and obviously delay the 2 minutes over the course of a full episode, because I just want to see these two go at it, But yeah, so the zone. I don't think I need to talk about anything other than that. I just want to get into it and see what we get. So, yes, without further ado, we're going to get in episode 18. If you want to go watch my reaction to the episode, then the link is in the description below to the 10-minute version. There's also a link to the full length. If you do want to watch my reaction to this episode in full and not just the 10-minute cut version, then the offer is there for you. But yes, nothing else really to talk about, so we're going to get in episode 18, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 18, and yeah, it was a great episode. It just never let up, really, did it? From the those last 2 minutes in the game, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. What I said previously in the pre-discussion, where it dragged that out for most of the episode. Of course, we had to have time for it to to sink in for Toe and everything like that, and to have that sort of little bit of the aftermath. It was so well earned. I know that I have this thing with specifically the sports shows where I'm just it makes sense for certain teams to win at this. You know what I mean? For them to lose to Toe again would have been I just feel like it just wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? But they do a real good job of actually making it look like they can get to a certain point and keep it suspenseful. You know what I mean? Because even though it makes all the sense in the world for them to take the win this time round, to keep the hope and dream alive, I feel like you have to put that sort of you have to sort of fit that suspense in to not to make sure that the audience don't end up not caring about the match. So they do a real good job of, even though you're so sure of who's going to win, it even up until the last the last shots of the game just end up being so tenseful, because you don't know what's going to happen or how they're ever going to pull it off. I love the fact that in order to win, they literally had a free shot. They had to purposely miss so that they could get the extra point. Because 1 point would just put them into overtime. I can't believe I didn't. I would never have thought about that. I suppose I was going to say I can't believe I didn't think about that, but then I figured that I'm not, I don't know all that much about basketball, so it would be one of those things where, you know, I would have never even considered the idea of missing a free shot to, you know, because I thought what they were going to do was, like, get the... Well, it comes in stages, because when Kiyoshi had the ball and he shot and it went in, I was like, just before it went in, because I think it was called out beforehand, wasn't it? But I was like, alright, that gives them 2 points. To's going to get a hold of it, and in some form or fashion, Seirin were going to get the ball and score again. And I thought that was going to be the case with the free shot when that was given. So it was a 2 and 1, which is, I believe, what they call it, because obviously if you're getting fouled when you take the shot and it goes in, the basket counts and you get the 1 free shot as well, which obviously tallies it up to 3 if you get the basket. So. But yeah, even if that had went in, I was thinking that they were going to just have to take the shot, get it in, and then do the same thing, try and take it off them to get another shot. And that would have been they would have to do that within 6 seconds. It's tough, but you know what I mean. We go through anime time all the time in anime, so you know. And Jesus Christ, oh, mental stuff. I'm glad Armenia wasn't crying about it, or we didn't see him really tear up, because I never thought that would be something that he would do, and if he did, I feel like it would have been a tad bit out of character, because I don't think he sees things that way. But I think the best thing that they did was characterize him as this guy who is... It's not like a loss is a big deal to him. But it's also coupled with the fact that he's found somebody who he can actually try his best against in Kagami. So it's a bittersweet thing for him. So I don't think him tearing up about it would be right in a way. You know what I mean? I guess if he did, it would just, I don't know. There could be a case made for like, oh well, at least he feels about, I don't know, his teammates, or the fact that the third years no longer play. You know, but I just never pinned Armenia for that type of character to do so. So yeah, I'm glad that was the case. You know, and as he, you know, pronounced in that after credit scene, you know, he's wanting to get new basketball shoes so he can practice. So, you know, as we predicted beforehand, that was the way that it was obviously going to go. You know, but it means that basketball can be fun for him again. So, very, very good. What else? I'm glad that Kuroko and Naomini got that like sort of final fist bump in, because in a way it was allowed in some sort of, you know, generally what would happen is that because they're not on the same team, I guess it could be considered like a bit like, oh fucking hell, don't do that. But I think because it was a sort of Kuroko considered it kind of like a debt. You know what I mean? Like, this was a fist bump that I offered to you back when we were teammates, so you giving it back to me now is basically just repaying that from back when they were teammates. So it's like a fist bump that was you know, from the past. So, you know, it just kind of settled things up really nicely. I just like the way that it all sort of rounded off, I suppose, everything with To, because it was basically a whole season, if you want to call it that, in the making. It was you know, because if you were to start the show from when they were playing To for the first time to where they beat them in this season, it would encapsulate like basically a whole season's worth, you know. So it's a big sort of arc, I suppose, from that moment in time. Kind of had its own like sort of arc going, I suppose. I mean, at the end of the day, it was the team to beat, I think, because, you know, in terms of Midorima, they you know, they haven't been beat by Midorima yet. Armenia was the first one that they truly beat. Again, I'm not counting Kisei, as I always bring up, because it was a training match. So, you know, there's that. But But yeah, I mean, this is what I will say actually, because I literally my thought just cropped in there when I was talking about Minarima, because back when we had that second match with Shutoku, so it wasn't that long ago. I said that I was almost disappointed with the result, and I wanted Shotoku to win because it was a great way for them to get a win, meaning that they were balanced, without knocking out Serene. You know what I mean? It was a perfect time to play Shotoku by sort of propping them up because they won, because they would have won, but they didn't, and because of that, I felt like Shotoku had been hard done by. I guess if I'm talking strictly about the result, then I still do feel that way. But one thing I actually want to talk about real quick, because I actually had a thought, which is I actually feel like they, in terms of playing, I feel like they ended up being the better team. The reason for that is because there were no changes in their team. Since the first game that Shotoku had against them, you could argue there was a lot of underestimating Serene at a time, but the fact is Shotoku lost to Serene the first time round. In the second game, Shotoku took them to a draw, meaning they did better than the previous match. And they did that even with Serene having Kiyoshi added to the group, which is huge. And also you have the likes of Kagami and Kuroko, and all the guys like have improved since that time. So the fact that Shotoku were able to take them to a draw is says a lot. But because obviously it's so easy to focus on the sort of final result of everything, I suppose, as opposed to taking into account other things, I kind of thought that they were a bit hard done by. So in a way, because of the result, I felt like they were hard done by in terms of allowing them a win. But also, I feel like Shotoku played the bet, like they were the better team in that game, because they managed to take them to a draw with the exact same team, So yeah, there's that. But what else? We'll go back to this episode. I like the fact that Kuroko believed in both. Like it got to a point where obviously there were, a lot of the like this episode, those last 2 minutes were down to one-on-ones with Kagami and Naomini. But the idea is that it wasn't that Kuroko didn't believe in Kagami or anything like that. There was no reason for Kuroko to be there anyway, and because obviously he has this relationship with both that are very similar, it was a case of like, well, I may as well get back here, because Naomini, if he does get the better of Kagami here, it's going to come all the way back here, and I'll get there beforehand. And I loved actually that opposite with Imayoshi, where he basically lost faith in Naomini for a second. So it's a great parallel, and this is why I like the fact that I actually watched the Naomini OVA, because it like sort of set the whole thing in motion with Naomini being the one guy that they trust. You know what I mean? I can't remember the exact quote of what it was, but it was at the end of the OVA episode where Imayoshi and the Toho coach are walking away from Teiko, right? And they're talking about how they know that Naomini is going to be the best out of them, and it's like to essentially give him the ball and trust him to do the job, that to win the game. And in that one moment, that one lapse of moment, like if Imayoshi didn't lose faith there, he possibly could have stopped Kuroko, and I think he probably would have stopped Kuroko from getting that pass off, because he legitimately said, like, I lost, like, I was too slow to follow the ball, because in that moment he just like, it's like he'd lost faith, and it just like a lapse of concentration forced him to be a bit slow. But yeah, so yeah, I like that, like, sort of just dynamic of the two guys that were on the other side of the court, that one lost faith, one had faith in both. Really, really cool. Yeah, Kagami passing with his left hand. It obviously shows that he has been working on that which is the one thing that he really did need to work on, because at the end of the day, like, his left hand, his ball handling wasn't up to scratch. And yeah, passing it off to Kiyoshi, who was in the right place at the right time. Kiyoshi getting that crucial point, which was crucial as well. I know I talked about like how I thought they were going to have to do it, but in the end, I feel like the only way they could have won was to get that free throw. So yeah, I think Kiyoshi kind of made that happen. You know what I mean? Like, they all did, but I mean, Kiyoshi had to do one thing, and it is hard. I feel like it would be hard to do, because he has to make the basket, but he also has to be fouled, and he has to, like, you know, somehow get fouled, force himself to be fouled, and if that doesn't happen, they don't win the match. So Kiyoshi coming up clutch, my guy. Yeah, so the zone thing, I got trolled. I'm sure at one point they basically said that they were no longer in the zone, like they'd reached their limit. But then for like a split, I don't know if it was a case of like they had their limit, but then like during the time where it ended, it like recharged just enough for that one move that where Naomini almost like faking a fall almost, you know what I mean, like and like, you know, he like rolled around into the shot over the top, which is, you know, much better than his first behind the basket shot, you know. But they were definitely in the zone there, because I saw the lightning. So I don't know if it was a case of like they would were they saying that their zone was at their limit or their body was at their limit, because it could have been either or. It's just that when they said that they had reached their limit, I never saw zone lightning again until Naomini made that shot from behind the basket. So, you know, let me know if you will, because I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they were in the zone entirely during that that period, or they lost it for a bit. You know, but yeah, I mean, talking about that, Jesus Christ, just smooth, man, so quick. The fact that everyone on the court, like all the other players, were just like, they didn't know what the fuck was happening. It's like they were struggling to even keep up with how quick it was going, man. Oh, it's insane, man. I just love the like the visual nature of how good a move is, or how good like someone's ability to dribble is based upon how smooth the animation is, or how quick it is. It's like, you know what I mean, like they purposefully up the frames for you know, certain scenes to sort of get that effect. You know what I mean, that it's so fluid and they've got so much control. You know, whereas when they use like the general 12 frames a second, that it's more jagged, and obviously it's like you can counteract the two based upon how well someone's doing, almost, you know. So it's cool because it has another thing apart from looking cool, you know what I mean. It's not just using the rule of cool just to make something look cool. It actually has almost like a purpose in a way. It does serve a purpose, so I really like that. Yeah, what else? I guess yeah, from the zone thing, if we'll continue on with that for a second, because I did write down like you know, if they did actually lose the zone for that period of time, that they left at the same time, which was weird, because I thought Naomini went in first. Like, didn't he go in the zone before half time, like the halfway through that episode? Kagami only got it towards the end. So I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's well, it'll not be a set time of you know, how much zone you can use set for everyone, is it? Like, you know, like, oh, you can only use a minute of zone before it leaves for everyone. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. But yeah, who knows? Kagami blocking Naomini's shot was great. And apparently that was done after he left the zone, but again, that's to do with the zone. I don't know if he did leave it or not, but he does have obviously the higher jumping power, and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got. Syrian win, they move on. And yeah, it's all about who's next, which I don't know, because this was the first knockout stage, right? After the Championship League. So we're on to the second, and I don't know how many teams are left in it. So I don't know if we're going into like... Oh, is it... Wait a minute. Was Tour quarterfinals? Maybe it was. I don't know. Shit. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out anyway who we're getting next episode. But anyway, yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. Episode 19 will be out the same time as this as well. So if you do want to get access to episode 20 and 21 right now, you can do by becoming an early access tier patron over on my Patreon. That'll give you early access for $5 a month. It's early access basically a week early. So you can get episodes a week early. 2 episodes a week early to be exact. So yeah, episode 20 and 21. So if you want those, get yourself over there. There's also the full length tier if you want to watch any of my reactions in full and not just the 10-minute cut version. Speaking of which, this episode's going to be tough to cut, I think. Can't wait for that. And then there's the exclusive tier, which is for movie reactions and things like that. So if you want to watch my reactions to movies, that will be the tier for you. But yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.